messages will now become subliminal, but your subconscious mind will be hearing and accepting all of the positive messages. Listen to the tapes as often as you can. The more you listen.
Hello, world, and welcome to another fantastic episode of the Awaken Your Positive Inner Voice podcast. I am your host, Kenya Zandrowicz. I hope that you have been intentional with how you are speaking to yourself this week, as always. Thank you so much for joining us again. I am very excited about this particular episode. Of course, I am with all of them. I state this at the beginning of every show. It does not go without being said. I am extremely excited because this is my 11th episode. Woohoo! That's right. Can we get a hand clap? 11 is a very powerful number. It is a master number for those of you who are into a numerology like I am. And it is one of my favorite numbers. I actually have it tattooed on me because I love the number 11, and I feel like whenever I see 11 or whenever I see 1111 or a series of numbers that add up to 11, it reminds me to check in on myself. It reminds me to take a pause, to take a moment, to do a body scan, to see how I'm feeling mentally, to see how I'm feeling spiritually and emotionally. So those are my little reminders to take my own spiritual pulse, so to speak. In all of my life, that number has been with me. And during one of my previous shows, I did speak on that with my special invited co-host, Marks 11. And we talked about that and why that number means so much to me. So if you're curious and you want to know a little more, then I definitely encourage you to go and check out some of the previous episodes. They are available on demand. You can do that through my website, and you can do that through all of the other amazing platforms. I'll share the link in the description so that you can just click it and listen, right? This week's show, I was a little torn because when I was speaking with my producer, the first thought was I was going to end this season right here and then pick up on, in the fall. And we were going to be doing things differently. Of course, it's been great. I love that you all get to hear my voice, but I have been asked if I could do the audio and visual forms of the podcast. And I hear you all, and the answer is yes. So it is coming. Beginning this fall, you will be able to watch and listen to the Awaken Your Positive Inner Voice podcast. And we'll have different locations. That is the goal. And then we'll have various guest co-hosts. We've tried that out a couple of times, and I absolutely love it. It's fun to sit and speak with other individuals. And I love to learn how people talk themselves through. When you are doing whatever it is that you're doing, when you are living life, when you are building your business, when you are creating artwork, when you are out in the community, how do you talk yourself through it? How do you pump yourself up, motivate yourself so that you can get through those tough times? And what I'm learning is that every successful person has a story. Every person has a story of how they got from point A to where they are now. I don't know which point they're in because we're all forever evolving and the alphabet only goes to Z. So how you got from where you were to where you are now, I love to hear about those stories and how you're overcoming certain obstacles in your life. And I find that for me, I have mastered the art of the inner dialogue. And that took a whole lot of work. And I didn't even realize that I started doing this at a very young age. And it helped me. It helped me get out of bed in the morning. It helped me get dressed. It helped me walk through the doors to go into school. It helped me, throughout my life all the way around. And so I have gone and I have looked at all of those things that I have done that are consistent. And now I use that information. I provide that information and those tools and those resources to you, for you, so that you can do the same thing, so that you can learn to listen to your inner dialogue. And if you don't have one, let's try to figure out how. How can we create that inner voice, that positive inner voice, that supportive inner voice? A lot of times, we're fearful of moving forward in our life, and we remain complacent and we do the same old things. But you cannot do the same old things and expect a different result. You have to do something different. And in order for you to take those steps in a different direction, you got to talk yourself through it, at least for me. I wrote the book and published the book, Awaken Your Positive Inner Voice, the key to cultivating self-love and empowerment, so that you can have something that's tangible. So you're not only listening to the show, but you're also reading the books. And then I also have a series of events that I do. Hopefully, very soon will be more on a national level. But locally, I do these events and I partner with amazing individuals, and we will offer ways for you to become a little more mindful, these mindful activities coupled with positive talk and positive dialogue, so that you can learn to implement this particular practice into your own life. And it doesn't stop there, of course. My goal and my vision has always been to help. And that's all I know, is I want to help. I don't sing, although I love music. I don't paint, although I love art. So I'm an admirer of self-expression. And I remember during one of my darkest moments, I was on the floor and I was crying, and I looked up and there were trees, and my inner voice said, trees have all of the answers. And I looked up and I saw this beautiful tree, and then I had to sit and I began to think about, what could that possibly mean in my own life? What does that mean? And so I thought about what a tree is. It provides, we receive oxygen from trees. We build our homes from the wood from the trees. Certain trees provide fruit and food and shelter. So all of these beautiful things. And I had to look at my own life, and I thought to myself, well, a tree doesn't want to be a blade of grass. It's going to be the best possible tree it can be, as long as it is there and open to receiving what it needs. Sunlight, what it needs. It needs the carbon dioxide that we breathe, what it needs. It needs the animals to take and spread its pollen so that it can repopulate, right? So trees are just these beautiful, beautiful things. And then I started to learn about grounding. And then I started to learn about tree bathing. And that's not going out in the woods and getting in a hot tub of water naked and washing. No, that's not it. I mean, if you've got it like that, by all means, go embrace nature in that way. But to go out, to be out in nature, to sit with the trees, to sit quietly with yourself, to ground yourself by placing your feet in the grass and connecting in that way. It's very healing. It's very powerful, and it can bring that clarity that you're looking for. And so then that led to the going from A to Zen process, to going from that anxiety state to that Zen state in life. And that's kind of where my logo came from. I don't know if many of you know this or not, but my Go From A to Zen logo, it is an actual tree. And I break that down on some of my YouTube videos as well. But so what is this topic about? This topic today is about change. It is about embracing change. It is about being open to change. And I feel that there is a shift that is happening collectively. There are energies that are moving and swaying, and we have a part in that. And we can be open to receiving that energy so that we can make those positive changes in our own lives. There's just a lot going on. And I feel that when you fight the changes, that's when they become hard. That's when those obstacles show up. And when you fight what it is that is trying to come to you simply by putting up that wall and being adamant about this is the way things are, this is the way they have to be, this is who I am, and I'm not deviating from that, you're missing out on so many different things. Yes, set boundaries. By all means, set those boundaries. But give yourself room to grow. And growth requires change. And change requires growth. They are going to work in tandem. And I'll use this as an example. My husband and I have always been dog people. I have never been one to allow myself to connect with a cat, right? Like, nothing against them personally. They were just, I found them to be very mischievous and very set in their own ways. But as of late, recently, within the past 2 weeks, we have decided to allow 2 kittens into our home. And we had to open ourselves up to something new. And I found that when we did that, we are actually enjoying being kitten parents. We are enjoying, watching them play and trying to understand them and them trying to understand us. So I feel that I'm a little more open to change these days. And as I've done that, I've opened a couple of other doors and I'm allowing other things to flow through into my life, other opportunities that I would probably have not seen before had I not truly found something to open those doors of change. So it started with 2 kittens, and then we're going to see how that kind of progresses in my own evolution, because I feel it. And of course you get older and a lot of things change. You physically change, and then emotionally and mentally you begin to change as well. So that's what this episode is all about. It's being open to change. It's being open to doing things differently. We don't have to do things the exact same way that other people have done them. Yes, we were taught certain things, but how does it truly apply to who you are now? Do you need to make some tweaks? Do you need to um, um, create a different way of doing something that has been done a certain way for a long time? And that's why I do this podcast, because again, this is my therapy, and each week I'm discussing things that are going on in my own life, and I sit back and I think about them, I talk about them, I write them out, and I try to understand, what does this mean to my own life? And is there some sort of growth? Was there some sort of lesson that I can share with the rest of the world to help them? And so as of late, I've been going through that whole winds of change. And it's a beautiful process. And at times it leaves you scratching your head or almost wanting to bang your head up against a wall. But it is a beautiful process. So we're going to take a very quick break, and we come back. We are going to talk about sitting, noticing those little taps on the shoulder, right? Taps in life that will assist you in identifying it's time to do something different. I need to change it up a bit. So don't you move, don't you go anywhere. We have more coming up for you right after this. You are listening to the Awaken Your Positive Inner Voice podcast with Kenya Zandrowicz. Welcome back. For those of you who are just now tuning in, I am Kenya Zandrowicz. I am your host for the Awaken Your Positive Inner Voice podcast. If this is your first time, I definitely recommend that you go back and you listen to some of our previous episodes where we discuss what this show is, who I am, and why we do this. You can also, learn a little bit. We have some really amazing topics in our past shows. So I invite you to get familiar because we're growing, we're evolving, and we're changing. That's right. Starting in the fall, not only will you be able to listen to the Awaken Your Inner Voice podcast, but you will also be able to watch the Awaken Your Positive Inner Voice podcast. So got to be open to change, which is the topic of this particular show. Now, how do you know? How can you identify when it's time to change? I think when you feel stuck, that's one way. When you start to feel like your life is just stuck, things are stagnant, and you start to feel unfulfilled, you really need to look at where you are right now. Are you following your heart's desires? Are you truly stepping out and going after the things that you want? I feel as though the minute you step in a different direction, you are creating a new path. And on that new path, there might be some resistance, but you have to be the machete. You have to pave the way. And then I also feel that other things will meet you on that path because you're open to it. So when you start to make those changes, when you start to do things in a different way, you begin to get different results. That's just how that works. That's a known fact. You do something different, you get a different result. You can take the same recipe on a box, and if you alter that recipe in some way, you're going to get a different outcome. And it's the same with your life. If you're sitting there and you're surrounded by a lot of toxicity and the things that you interact with, the things that you discuss, and you spend your time you're mentally giving so much energy to things that are of toxic nature, then that's what's going to be in your life. And more things are going to pop up to bring more toxicity into your life. So you have to decide that I want something different. You have to decide, you know what? Okay, I'm going to clean up my social media timeline. I'm not going to watch so many drama-filled shows. I'm going to try and watch something a little different, something a little more lighthearted that keeps me in a state of joy and gratitude. And so, no, you can't be that way all the time. Things happen. Some things happen that are out of your control. But what this does is this helps to prepare you for whatever comes your way. This helps you understand and know that whatever happens, I can get through it. Might not like the feeling. It may be uncomfortable. I may not want to do this, but I know that I can get through it. And that's what you're preparing yourself for. When we're told that we need to prepare ourselves for life, we're told that we need to learn how to live, pay our bills, get a job, drive, cook, all of these different things. But when you're preparing yourself for life, I think we're missing the mark a little bit because we're not preparing our children when life starts lifing. We forget that we need to prepare them emotionally and mentally for what life has out there, for what life will throw your way. And I've had to handle it. There have been a lot of ups and downs, but I've had to learn how to handle it in right then and there, right? Like I had to get through it, then look back and say, okay, I did it. So next time when this happens, I already know that I'm prepared because I've experienced it. And so I think preparing individuals for life, the emotional aspects of life, the mental aspects of life is very important. So how prepared are you to make those changes mentally and emotionally so that you can begin to physically make those changes, so that you can begin to see them, as a result in your outer world? How are you doing that work? And so one of the key signs for me when I know I need to do something different is when things start to feel stagnant, when I just feel very, in layman's terms, blah about life. And for some, that is a form of depression, when you just have no motivation, when you can't allow that gray cloud that feels like it's just covering it, you're just engulfed in it when you can't get past it. But you can, and you might need some help in doing so, and that's okay. You can speak to someone. If therapy is what you need, then by all means do it. Every week, this is mine. This helps me to understand change is good. And I think my husband and I, we lock hands and we think change is good. We have to do things differently. We want to build and grow our businesses, and that's going to require a little more work on our part. It's going to require a different thought process, a different mindset on our part. Even what we want to experience and the people we want to experience, we have to let go of some to make room for others. You outgrow things. When you're younger, you outgrow clothes. And when you get older, you outgrow certain aspects of your life. And you grow into something better. I don't like to look at things as I no longer focus on walking away from something. I focus more on walking towards that thing that I'm envisioning. I'm walking towards that goal, those goals I have set for myself. And so that's a change in my thought process, right? That's a little tweak that I've had to make with my thought process, which in turn leads to my inner dialogue and how I speak on that. And that fuels the energy for me to take the physical action to move in a different direction. I do, and I have done a variety of things. I wear many hats. I don't feel like we are all set to do just this one thing. Some people are comfortable doing just that one thing in life, but I like to leave myself open. I am skilled at certain things more than others, and I am gifted in other areas. And so I have found a way to incorporate all of it into my life. That took work. But that is how I keep myself open to change, because I know that, how they say you should have multiple streams of income because something is always flowing. And I believe that even as it applies to your life, not necessarily financially, but to your everyday life, your creative process, your hobbies, whatever you're doing, something should always be flowing that brings you joy, that brings you gratitude. And so you have to be open to those things coming in. I don't know where the multi-million dollar idea is going to come from. So I put several out there and I work on several. all things lead to my ultimate goal, which is certain experiences that I choose to have over my own life. I love the beach. I want to be able to just get up, pick up, and go and sit at the beach. I want to be able to go and to meditate and to connect with the beach. I love being out in nature. I want to be able to go out and sit in nature and just sit quietly when I need to, when I want to. I want to be able to do things that I love doing, period. I love to create immersive, impactful events. So I've created a life where I am able to do so, whether I'm assisting other companies, nonprofits in doing so, or if I'm cultivating my own on a smaller scale. So my life is open. I feel like life is a blank canvas. You paint it however you choose. It's on you. You have the brush. You have the colors. It's totally on you. And it's never ending. That is what's so beautiful about us as humans is every day we can wake up, we can start over, and we can decide to do something different. Now, you do have, individuals who fall along the never getting any project done. They're jumping from one thing to the next, or they're procrastinators. I was one of those people. I promise you I was. But that was because I didn't understand what my soul needed. My soul needed creativity. I enjoy creating, and that's what I do. And you do a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. The goal does not have to be completed, set, you're done. Unless, of course, you're building something that requires every screw to be put in place. That's different. But when it comes to certain things that you want to enjoy in life, if you are writing a book, or if you are creating your first documentary, or you've decided I want to write a screenplay, those are things that you can do, and you can take your time and you can enjoy the process. It is the process. It is the process in which we learn. It is through the process in which we learn. There, that sounds better. It is through the process in which we learn. So I find joy in the process. And then I have also found that when I've completed something, whether it is an event, whether it is a book, I'm a little bit like, I'm sitting there tapping my fingers going, I'm finished that. Oh man, wah wah. Okay, what's next? That's me. Because I understand that I need to be in the creative flow always. And sometimes that's sitting across from someone and helping them and assisting them and leading them back to themselves. When you are open to change, change will come, and it'll come in many forms. The opportunity to sit with different people, the opportunity to have this dialogue, to learn something, to teach something. I believe we're either the teacher or the student in any interaction that we have with another individual. You are listening to different music, which stimulates different areas of your brain. You are watching different things on television, again, which can open up your imagination into a different area. You begin to eat differently. Changing your diet. I changed my diet completely. And I am more focused. I am more alive. I have more energy. I'm more excited about life. I've gone and I've totally taken on the inner journey to change my outer world. So I started internally. And this podcast is one of the ways that I do this. And it also is one of the ways that I help others do this. So I set out to be a meditation coach because I fell in love with the art, the art, the beauty, and the healing within meditation. And I come from the city and I now live on a farm. I used to love fast food and now I don't eat any processed foods. I used to just go to the grocery store to buy everything. Now there are certain foods that I process on my own. Like I have my chickens, which you might hear some of my roosters, and my husband and I, we have our own eggs. We go to various farms and we pick fruit, and we have pear trees on our farm, and we're going to plant peaches and lemon trees. And so I'm doing certain things and learning in the process. It is through the process in which we learn about ourselves and about others. And so when you begin to see things changing all around you, you get nervous, right? And I'm learning this from my kittens because I had to kitten proof the house. So I didn't want them to run and hide. So I put obstacles in place. I made sure they couldn't run under the couches. So they had to be out in the open and they had to interact so that they weren't afraid of us. And I did that. And by the second or third day, they were sitting with us, coming up to us, sitting on the couch, not running, and they weren't hiding. So we brought in a large bag of deer corn. My husband is an avid archer. We eat venison. It's very healthy and it assists him with his digestive system. So we were going to put out some corn for the deer, and just so they can be healthy. They have healthy antlers, all of that good stuff. We put the bag down, and the kittens were scared of the bag. It was change. It was something different, and they stepped away. But one of the kittens went up, very inquisitive, and they swatted at it and ran. Came back, swatted at it and ran. And then they were okay with it. Then they understood, okay, that's there, that's different, that's new, but it's there, it's different, it's new. I'll go along with it. That's kind of how life is, right? Certain things, when you need to make changes in your life and you refuse to do so, life is going to do it for you. Because internally you want a different result, but physically you're not doing the work to make it happen. Life, source, God, universe is going to make it happen for you. And it could be an obstacle. Because you didn't make the necessary change to do what you know is needed for you to have the desired result. Something shows up to help it, to make it happen for you. So that choice is always yours. It is truly yours how you experience life and you experience the changes and things that go on. And I say that to say, be open to it because it's happening on a daily basis. We see it. We see it everywhere. You can feel it. You can feel it. Things are shifting. And so you can hop on that bandwagon while the energy is flowing and you can open yourself up to it. Write the things down that you want to experience in life. Write them down. And write down what it's going to take to receive those results. And then look at where you are. How much further do you have to go? What steps do you need to take to make it happen? You have to do the work. You are the change. Your life is the change. You are the shift. You make it so. And you can. I'm cheering for you. I'm rooting for you. Root for yourself. No outside validation is needed. You got a dream. You got a goal. Do what's necessary to make it happen. Is it attainable? Absolutely. Can you be a multimillionaire? Absolutely. Can you be a billionaire? Absolutely. It will take work. It will take work. But you can do it. Stop comparing yourself to where other people are. You don't know the work that they did to get there. You don't know how they got there. That is none of your business. Just know they are there. If you want that financial success, you can be there too. Start surrounding yourself with people who are there. Have those conversations with people about getting there. Talk about your dream more. Talk about what you want to accomplish more, but talk about it as if it has happened. Always. I know individuals who will say something and then 2 weeks later they have it. And some of them don't even realize that they've mastered the art of manifestation. That's the funny part. And then here I am going, why is this taking me so long? But I realized I wasn't speaking on it enough. I had the internal dialogue, but let it out, voice it. I'm looking forward to when my skincare line is in 100 different boutiques. Right now, it's going to be in one, and I got 99 more to go. It's available online. I can't wait to have my launch party. I am looking forward to it. I am planning it now. Because it's happened. I've seen it. So I do the work. I take the steps to make it so. My husband's business, same thing. We talk about it. We do the steps to make it so. You can have the life you absolutely desire. I do not disagree. What you're experiencing is because of the choices that you've made. Whether it's the person you're with, whether it's the job that you have, you made those choices. You said yes to it. Now, say no to some things. Walk towards your yeses, walk away from those no's. Like it's not working. Let's get to what is. Let's move to what is. I've got to change my path. I've got to change my focus. How do I do that? You have to put up those gentle reminders. You have to use those tools and those resources that are readily available to you in order to make it so. So this is our 11th episode, everyone. And I know that this was the episode when we just needed to announce that beginning in the fall, you will be able to not only watch, but listen to, or I said that backwards. You'll not only be able to listen to, but watch the Awaken Your Positive Inner Voice podcast. And what I love about this is authentic. You know, we have our topics. There's always an outline, but which way it goes is truly an energetic thing. I meditate before every single show so that I know that I am open and you are receiving what needs to be said. Is this podcast for everyone? No, but it is for someone. And that in itself brings me joy. Besides the fact it's for me, because I know that this feels good and this is how the energy flows. So what are you going to do this week? You are going to write down the life that you would like to experience. You're going to write down what it's going to take to get there. And then you're going to write down where you are within that process. And you're going to work on it every single day, little by little. Just work on it and keep going. Keep cheering for yourself. Know that you will get through it. Know that this life is here for you to live and experience the things that you want to live and experience. Yes, there is a lot of pain out there in the world and there is suffering, but there's also joy. There's also love. And sometimes you have to be the joy. You have to be the love. And you have to work from a place of gratitude. I am informed on the things that are happening in this world. I'm just not entertained by the negative aspect of it. So I'm doing my part. If I can help change a person's thought process, if I can help change their heart in some way, I'm doing something good. So, with that being said, we are coming up to the end of this 11th episode. And originally, I was going to take a little bit of a break before we started into getting into the visual aspects of it. But as I'm sitting here and as I'm talking and as I'm thinking, I have to do this every week. I have to do this. But I want you to know this is the end of season 1. Next week, we will be starting with season 2. Season 2 begins. And then in the fall, we are going to have you will be able to watch. And that's a beautiful thing. So thank you all so very much for tuning in. I am your host, Kenya Zandrowicz. I hope that you have enjoyed your time with me as much as I've enjoyed my time with you. As always, people, I'll be talking to you positively.
These messages will now become subliminal, but your subconscious mind will be hearing and accepting all of the positive messages. Listen to the tapes as often as you can. The more you listen, the sooner success will come.
Wake me up from this physical world. Then shake me up, so I can see the world. Oh, pick me up from the illusion world. Ooh, damn baby, kiss me up like it's the end of the world. Walking down the streets of my dreams, why it seems so real. I can't believe I see what's really real. See the things we feel, we can make them disappear. 'Cause the time is near, you see, baby. So won't you come with me? Wake me up from this physical world. Then shake me up, so I can see the world. Oh, pick me up from the illusion world. Ooh, damn baby, kiss me up like it's the end of the world. It's time to raise the vibration. All your love can build back this nation. I am a candidate for elevation. Are you ready for deep ventilation? Turn your back to temptation, where you step up to the vision. I call it divine mutation. So will you come with me? So won't you come with me? 'Cause I've been waiting so long for you. I couldn't find the light. It seemed like all white, but I'ma make my way up to you. Will you see me shine? Will you finally be mine? I could show you things we could do.